They laughed when she laid her rifle on the mat. Her setup looked different, almost too precise for the casual shooters around her. The scope placement, the angle of her bipod, the way she adjusted her sling, all of it drew quiet smirks and exchanged glances. But when the instructor walked by, he didn't laugh. He stopped, looked closely, and leaned in with a whisper that silenced the room. Only Rangers train like that. In that moment, the room's entire energy changed. What had seemed like overconfidence was suddenly recognized as mastery born of discipline, experience, and a story that went far beyond appearances. She wasn't there to show off. She was there because training was her language, precision was her respect for the craft, and excellence was her habit. Every motion of her setup came from repetition, from the lessons drilled into her by those who had faced real battlefields, not paper targets. The others came to shoot for fun, but she came to honor a standard. That standard didn't come from ego, it came from understanding that real skill isn't loud. It's quiet, calculated, and shaped by the moments no one sees. Discipline is not something that can be borrowed, it's earned in silence, in the long hours when no one's watching. She had learned to trust her training more than her talent. Because talent can take you to the field, but discipline keeps you sharp when pressure tries to break you. The way she measured her breathing, how she aligned her sights, even how she waited before pulling the trigger, it was all part of a rhythm built on patience. The others rushed to shoot first, but she knew the real strength was in control. Every adjustment was deliberate, every movement intentional. Her focus wasn't to impress anyone but to perform at her absolute best. That's the mark of someone trained under standards of excellence, where precision becomes second nature and focus becomes identity. In life, people often mock what they don't understand. The difference between an amateur and a professional is invisible to the untrained eye. The same happens beyond the range, in classrooms, in offices, in every space where people bring quiet excellence. Those who move differently are often misunderstood. But just because something doesn't look familiar doesn't mean it's wrong. The woman's setup looked strange because it was built for real-world efficiency, not comfort or style. It wasn't about looking good, it was about surviving under conditions that most people never face. That's what happens when training goes deeper than appearance, it becomes instinct. Her story is a reflection of how true professionalism works. The Rangers are not trained for applause, they are trained for mission success. That mindset shows in everything they do, even outside the battlefield. It's about preparation meeting purpose. She wasn't improvising, she was operating from muscle memory shaped by repetition and corrected by failure. Those who laughed didn't understand that mastery looks different. It's not flashy, it's refined. It doesn't seek attention, it seeks results. That's what separates the few who are truly excellent from the many who only imitate. Her setup wasn't about style, it was about survival, precision, and respect for the craft. There's also a lesson about humility buried in this moment. When the instructor whispered those words, the room didn't just fall silent out of respect, it fell silent out of realization. They had judged too quickly. They had measured skill by appearance, not by substance. The whisper was a reminder that sometimes the person you overlook carries more experience than you can imagine. She didn't need to defend herself or explain her methods. Her work spoke for her. That's how quiet confidence works, it doesn't need validation because it's rooted in experience. The instructor recognized the signs of true training, and with a few words, he changed everyone's perspective. In the world beyond the range, we all face moments like that. Times when others question our methods, our pace, our way of doing things. But the truth is, every professional operates by a system that the untrained might never notice. The way a leader makes decisions, the way a teacher prepares lessons, the way a craftsman measures before cutting, all are marks of mastery. And mastery often looks strange until the results appear. The woman's rifle setup was not for show, it was a product of unseen effort, lessons learned in sweat, not theory. That's how real growth happens, it's invisible until it becomes undeniable. The instructor's whisper also reminds us that recognition doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes, the most powerful acknowledgement is quiet. When he said, "Only Rangers train like that," he wasn't just talking about her setup, he was acknowledging her journey. The long hours, the repetition, the discipline, the failure, the persistence, it all lived in that one sentence. In that whisper, she wasn't just validated, she was honored. Because excellence doesn't beg for attention, it commands it silently. That's a powerful lesson for anyone who's been underestimated. You don't have to prove your worth to those who don't understand it. Just keep doing your work the way excellence demands, and eventually, the right eyes will recognize it. Her story also reflects the power of standards. When you've been trained under high expectations, average feels uncomfortable. She wasn't trying to stand out, she was just doing what she was taught. But that very discipline made her exceptional. That's what strong foundations do, they make you consistent when others fluctuate. Whether it's in shooting, business, or personal growth, standards define performance. And when you hold yourself to higher standards, you don't just perform better, you inspire others to elevate themselves. Those who mocked her that day walked away thinking differently. They learned that confidence without competence is fragile, but quiet mastery is unbreakable. Her story pushes us to reflect on how we handle criticism. Do we shrink when people doubt us, or do we stand firm in our process? True professionals don't let opinions shake their foundation. They understand that expertise is often lonely because few people operate at that level. She stayed calm because she wasn't performing for approval. Her validation came from knowing she was doing it right, not from being seen doing it. That mindset is what turns potential into power. When you stop chasing recognition and start honoring your process, you rise naturally. People may laugh at first, but sooner or later, your results speak louder than their opinions. In every field, there are those who are mocked before they are respected. Innovators, leaders, and visionaries are often misunderstood because they move before the world catches up. Her story is their reflection. She didn't argue or explain, she just let her work reveal her level. And when the truth came out, respect followed. The whisper from the instructor was not just for her, it was for everyone who's ever been laughed at for doing things differently. It was a message that excellence doesn't always fit the crowd's expectations. Sometimes it stands apart, quietly shaping the standard that others will follow later. And that's the beauty of discipline, mastery, and quiet strength. They don't demand attention, they earn it. Those who laughed at her that day learned a lesson in humility. The woman with the rifle wasn't trying to prove herself, but she did, through her preparation, her composure, and her skill. It's a powerful reminder that in life, true professionalism doesn't need to announce itself. It's recognized by those who understand. The instructor's whisper became a symbol of respect, a reminder that greatness doesn't need to shout, it simply shows up, performs with precision, and leaves a mark that others can't ignore.